My name is Lilia De La Garza. I work for the Council on Alcohol and Drug Abuse, and this is another edition of Coffee with the Council. Today we're going to be talking to our teens in regards to vaping. This is kind of a growing trend, and there's been quite a bit of requests from educators to parents to administrators because this is an issue that they're seeing quite often. So I'm going to go over 4 steps on how to talk to teens in regards to vaping, and we'll start with step number 1. With step number 1, we always want to make sure that we're doing our research. I'm a very research and data driven person, and I really feel like in order to give a good information to our kids and give them good statistics and data and research, we need to make sure that we're looking to some credible sites in order to get some accurate data. Now, there's a lot of misinformation out there, so it's important to look at some sites that have research that's been proven, that we can use that are trustworthy. So some sites I might recommend could be something like the cdc.gov site, or Truth Initiative site, or even the Surgeon General site, American Cancer Society site, or the healthychildren.org. There are quite a bit of sites that you can look into, and I challenge you again, when you're talking to your teens, if they don't believe what you're saying or they don't think that your information is credible, then sit down together. This is a great time. They can't leave. They can't go anywhere because we're all kind of stuck together. So have that discussion and do your searches together. Maybe kind of talk about why is one site more credible than others. Our tip number 2 is ask those difficult questions. As a parent, we always want to know things, but sometimes asking the questions can be tricky or can be kind of scary to find out the answers to. But in order to get the information to the people that we really love and care about, we need to also gather information from them. So ask those questions. Questions like what? What could you ask? Well, you could say, what have you heard about e-cigarettes? Or what are e-cigarettes? What is vaping? Have you heard of juuling? Juul. Have you known anyone who uses any of these products? Have you tried it? Have you tried a product that you thought was not a tobacco product? So all these are important questions to ask. Maybe you might want to, get some information as to what kind of people their friends are or what kind of groups they're hanging out with. These are all, again, they're important questions, and they're questions that we kind of need to ask in order to get them the information that they need. Tip number 3, and that is stick to the facts. You're going to get some people who want to challenge you. They want to give you some opinions as to why they think this particular product or that particular product is a healthier product. But if you stick to the facts, those issues should be very minimal. So remember some of the facts. I'm going to give you a couple of facts here, and I challenge you again, do your research. If you go into the sites yourself and read for yourself, you'll find that you'll have a better understanding, a better base information to what you're sharing with your children or your teens, or even people that young adults that you work with or know of. So some facts are that e-cigarettes, really, they are not safe for children. They're not safe for teenagers, and really they're not safe for young adults. And we say young adults because, well, a person needs to be how old? That's right, they need to be 21 to use these products. They need to be 21 or older to use any type of tobacco-based or nicotine product. So the reason for that is because a young teenager's brain is still developing, and they won't get the full development until their early to mid 20s. So should they start using tobacco products earlier than 21, then they're putting their brain development in danger. And what we mean by that is that they can develop an addiction to the nicotine at an early age. And once that happens, then it's really hard to break that habit. I mean, everyone who's watching this probably knows someone in their family or a friend who's addicted to cigarettes, and they've been smoking for probably more than 10 or 20 years. So again, nicotine addiction is a real thing. Most of the e-cigarettes, they do contain nicotine, although a lot of people will say, well, there are some products that are nicotine free. The majority of them, and the reason why they're being sold, is because they have some type of addictive quality that they're getting. So remember that the e-cigarette products, they're highly addictive, and they can be harmful to the young brain. Those people who are young adults who use e-cigarettes or they vape early, they're a lot more likely to develop an addiction and want to smoke cigarettes when maybe this trend kind of fizzles out. How do they work? Well, the e-cigarettes, they produce an aerosol by heating the liquid that usually contains flavors, other chemicals, as well as high levels of nicotine. Sometimes you hear e-juice, sometimes you hear e-liquid, sometimes you hear e-vape, vape juice, vape liquid. All of those are just terms for the they're just terms for the chemical or the liquid that goes into the e-cigarettes. Now the user inhales it into their lungs, and when they exhale, then the bystanders, the people around them, they're still breathing in some of those aerosols. The tricky part is not only what they're vaping is that it's nicotine. It's also what are they vaping, because some of these products may be odorless, so they may not necessarily smell like anything specific. Whereas if someone's smoking a cigarette, you know exactly what it smells like. With e-cigarettes or vaping, it's not always the same. So they could be vaping THC, they could be vaping other chemicals as well, or other drugs as well. And it's challenging to know what exactly the person is using. A lot of people who are teens, who maybe have experience with e-cigarettes, they might have heard of Juul, Juul, Juul. And Juul is the most used, or the most popular, to say in a weird way, but it's the most used by young people. Now, this product is a little different than the regular e-cigarettes because it uses a different form. So most of the e-cigarettes, they're a liquid based, whereas the Juul products, they used a nicotine salt in their product, and the way it works is that it is able to have higher levels of the nicotine, and it's having like a less reaction to the person, so they have less irritation, and they have higher levels of nicotine. So it seems like that would be a good fit if they had higher levels of nicotine and less irritation. But the reality is that actually they're having a lot more poison in that particular product. The reason why I say that is because, if you don't know this already, nicotine is a pesticide, and it's what they use to spray the greenhouses and plants for bugs. So higher levels of nicotine can also lead to some types of toxicity, some types of poisons. So it's really important to know your information. These are just a couple of facts. You can look up your own, but just be knowledgeable. Know some information before you have that talk. And tip number 4, be a positive role model. We always want to make sure that we ask the questions, we give good advice, we model positive behavior, and be involved. If you do those 4 things with your teens or with your young adults, you're going to have a better communication, you're going to have more interaction, and they're going to trust you because they're going to know that the knowledge that you're giving them, that sharing with them, is knowledge that is scientifically based knowledge, that is not just opinion, but you did some research together. So those are my 4 tips. Do your research, ask your questions, stick to the facts, and be a positive role model. I'm Lilia De La Garza, and this is Coffee with the Council. Enjoy.